2024 Volkswagen Amarok vs Ford Ranger 2024 International Pickup Award Comparison. Ford has identified a gap in its local lineup it needed to fill by offering a more off-road focused version of the Ranger Wildtrak called the Wildtrak X. This model name was used in the original T6 Ranger generation, so it's been dusted off for a second run. The X is designed for customers who want greater off-road ability than the Wildtrak or New Platinum, but without the compromises in payload and tow ratings of the Baja-busting Raptor. So, with trot-eye use in mind, we recently put one to the test to see if Ford has maintained enough practicality in this newcomer to serve efficiently in the dual roles of weekday worker and weekend fun machine. Flagship utes have gotten both very good and very expensive, haven't they? The new Amarok, for example, tops out at just under $80,000 for the top spec Aventura. But what if your still waters don't run deep with cash? Well, there's good news, because the cheapest Amarok options, the Core and Life, are still pretty well equipped, and both start well below the $60,000 barrier. What's more, I reckon one of them might just be the pick of the entire Amarok range. Which one, you ask? For that, you'll need to stay with me as we explore the Amarok Core and Amarok Life. Deep Dive Comparison. Verdict. If the aim of our test vehicle is to provide a premium Ranger with greater off-road ability but without the Raptor's smaller payload and tow ratings, the Wildtrak X is bang on target. This versatile machine has plenty of appeal for trot-eyes and adventurers alike. The Life might be one of the more budget-friendly offerings in the Amarok range, but for mine, it's also among the smartest buys in the family. So ask yourself, do you really need that V6? Design. The X certainly looks like a top-shelf offering, but its appeal is more than visual, as evidenced by a bespoke suspension and wheel/tire package that results in a 30mm increase in track width for a wider stance and a 26mm increase in ground clearance that enhances off-road approach, ramp over, and departure angles. This suspension setup includes Bilstein position-sensitive monotube dampers with nitrogen-charged external reservoirs that minimize heat-related fade and optimize ride comfort and handling response for on- and off-road driving. Like the exterior, the Wildtrak X's spacious and plush interior has fine attention to detail. There's leather-accented seats with Miko suede, body-colored piping and embroidered Wildtrak X logos, plus Terra suede and body-colored stitching throughout the cabin. There's also adequate room for tall people like me, 186 centimeters, in the rear seat, with knee room that's enhanced by front seat backrests that are concave in shape to optimize space. Rear seat passengers also have access to heating/cooling vents plus 2 USB ports in the rear of the center console. It feels a little weird to describe any kind of dual cab Buddha as elegant, I know. We're used to these trucks looking big and bulky, with tough usually being the singular design brief. But you know what, I'm going to. Because the Amarok does look somehow elegant, mature, even, both in its Core and Life guises. It's partly the colors available, the bright beige metallic especially is lovely, but it's also the design philosophy overall. VW talks about it, and when they do it can sound like marketing guff, but the Amarok does genuinely look like it has European sensibilities. Climb inside the Core and you're met with the rough-and-tumble cabin of an entry-level workhorse. The steering wheel feels low-end, the flooring is vinyl, and there's a manual parking brake, cloth seats, and hard cabin materials. That said, it's all nicely laid out, and it all works visually, especially when you consider the purpose of the Core. The Life improves matters, with comfy, still fabric seats, a leather steering wheel and a cooler, leather-wrapped shifter, and a nice smattering of colors through the cabin, though the hard plastics remain. Practicality. With its hefty 2,432 kilograms curb weight, the Wildtrak X is 103 kilograms heavier than a standard Wildtrak, resulting in a 70 kilograms increase in GVM to 3,350 kilograms and a small 33 kilograms reduction in payload rating to 918 kilograms. It maintains the standard Wildtrak's benchmark 3,500 kilograms brake tow rating and 6,350 kilograms GCM, how much it can legally carry in tow at the same time. However, to tow that weight without exceeding the GCM would require a sizable 500 kilograms, half a ton, reduction in payload to 418 kilograms. Not that many, if any, ex-owners would need to tow 3,500 kilograms, but that peak rating provides a useful safety margin when towing lighter trailers. The load tub comes standard with a protective drop-in bedliner, powered roller shutter, lift-assisted tailgate and 12-volt accessory outlet. Loads can be secured using either slide-adjustable anchorages mounted high on the tub sidewalls, or 6 fixed points closer to the floor. The only negative with the roller shutter is that when fully retracted it eats into the load tub's length. Even so, with 1,217 mm between the wheel arches, the load tub can accommodate a standard Aussie or Euro pallet. There's also a clever roof rack system reminiscent of a Swiss Army knife. Each roof rail contains a pivoting blade which can swing 90 degrees across the roof to lock into place in the opposing rail. This creates an instant roof rack which can be neatly tucked away again when not required. To carry longer items, another load rack behind the rear window can easily slide rearwards on rails and be locked into place in a choice of 5 positions along the load tub. This rack also houses a hidden support beam which can be raised and locked in a vertical position. Very clever. In terms of cabin storage, there are large and small bottle holders, which aren't as good as the first-gen design, and a bin in each front door, an overhead glasses holder, pop-out cup holders on each side of the dash under the air vents and upper and lower glove boxes with an open storage shelf between them on the passenger side. The center console has a cordless phone charging pad and 2 USB ports at the front, 2 small bottle/cup holders in the center and a padded lid on a box at the rear which doubles as an elbow rest when driving. Rear seat passengers get small and large bottle holders and a bin in each door, pockets on each front seat backrest and a fold-down center armrest with 2 small bottle/cup holders. Its bench seat base can also swing up and be stored vertically if more internal storage is needed. They're all pretty damn practical, these Amaroks, and that's true of both the Life and Core models, too. While it's slightly narrower than the model it replaces, this Ford Ranger-based Amarok is slightly longer, with a longer wheelbase, which the brand says delivers more back seat space, while still being able to carry a pallet in its tray. It will also tow 3.5 tons freight, deliver a 988 kilograms payload, slightly down on the Core's 1,042 kilograms, and the roof is rated to 350 kilograms. There are plenty of off-road goodies, too. The 4Motion system delivers high-range and low-range 4WD, and both variants offer 235 mm of ground clearance, and 800 mm of wading depth. And I can tell you from experience that there's more than enough off-road capability on offer here to take you about as far as you want to go on the weekend. Price and features. Our Wildtrak X test vehicle is available only with Ford's familiar 2.0-liter bi-turbodiesel, 10-speed automatic transmission and exclusive cyber orange paint for a list price of $75,990. Ford claims the X is a special edition, but will not disclose how many it plans to build. Perhaps that number is only limited by how many it can sell? Time will tell. Even so, it costs an extra $7,500 to bring the X Factor to Wildtrak, and for that money you get much more than just the previous cosmetic upgrades, starting with bespoke wider track suspension, C design, equipped with unique 17-inch alloy wheels and two 65/70 or 17 all-terrain tires with a full-size alloy spare. The Core opens Amarok proceedings, listing at $52,990. And, unfortunately, it does very much feel like an entry-level model, with a key you need to insert in turn, a manual handbrake, vinyl flooring, and the least powerful engine available. Happily, it doesn't so much look like one. In fact, externally, the big differences between the Core and the Life is the latter's body-colored mirrors, and the former's external fixing rail that runs alongside the tray. It gets 17-inch alloys, a standard tow bar, LED headlights and DRLs, the former so powerful that a colleague riding ahead of me asked me to turn my high beams off, and some impressive in-cabin tech, including an 8.0-inch digital cockpit and a 10.0-inch central screen that loads up your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The Life is one rung above the entry-level Core model, and it lists at $56,990, which is not chump change. But it does deliver one of the best engines on offer, which the Core does not, and you get plenty of niceties, as well as all the UTA non-negotiables. Outside, there's LED lighting, headlights, DRLs and fog lights, as well as 17-inch alloys. The tow bar is still standard fit, too. Inside, there's the same infotainment tech, along with a leather steering wheel and gearshifter, 8-way driver and passenger seat adjustment, and an electric park brake. Under the bonnet. The X's 2.0-liter 4-cylinder twin-turbo diesel is the first Ranger